Today we are going to learn what is Lumio all about. We are going to learn about tech, we are going to talk about AI integration and lots more. Welcome. Thank you for doing this with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Before we start, I'd really love you to start with about your life journey. It's very intriguing. You were
Sure.
working with some other brands earlier.
Sure.
So just can you give us a little bit an overview of your trajectory?
Sure. So my name is Sudeep. I'm the head of product in Lumio. But yeah, before starting being a part of this journey, I've spent almost 15 years in the industry working on tech. I think from the very early on days, I still remember, I think I was in school and I bought my first computer book. I was always intrigued by computers in general. So growing up, electronics was again a key part. I did study electronics in my bachelor. So yeah, I worked in a few companies like you mentioned earlier. I've been in the tech space for a long time. Spent the last I think 8.5 years working in the TV space. So it was very obvious why we wanted to do this, because we have a more deeper understanding than a lot of other people. And like they say, when you're good at something, you should start with that. So we're starting with Lumio, and one of the first products that we're doing is TVs.
Okay. Just one more bit about your personal anecdotes. Like you work with diverse set of people
Sure.
who are industry veterans, right?
Yes.
So what are your key learnings? If you learned anything you would want to pass on to young budding entrepreneurs or people who are starting out. What are your key takeaways and key learnings so far?
I think I used to keep telling this to people. You have to start somewhere. It is okay if you might not have the entire understanding about, let's say, a category, for example, but you should, you can start from somewhere. And I think it's very important to be obsessed with doing things, and that too at a fast level. I think sometimes at least I personally believe doing things and iterating it. I think that is the biggest learning that I've got from my previous experiences. Waiting on something to be perfect, I think that's sometimes will be maybe not the right approach. But starting from somewhere, iterate and learn, and we all learn in the process of doing anything, right? I've learned that in my personal life, be it any job that I've taken, right? I've done various spectrum of jobs in my career, but that's my personal learning from everywhere I've worked. I think it's okay to make mistakes, but learn from it and move forward.
First of all, one of the things which I wanted to understand is what is the meaning of Lumio?
Sure.
And what does the brand name mean, or does it have some sort of significance?
Sure. Okay, so the story goes back almost like a year ago. We were searching for a name, but then we realized all the names are taken. सब कुछ trademark हो चुका है. तो yeah, Lumio is actually a combination of two words, lumen, which means light, और IO, which is fundamental to every electronics input and output. तो हमने दोनों को जोड़ के एक word create किया है Lumio. This is trademark to us. So that's the story behind the Lumio name.
Okay. So, now, one of the things which I kind of wanted to understand was
Sure.
I always thought the TV market was more or less saturated. There was some buzz,
Yes.
a couple of years ago.
Yes.
There's so many things happening, right? And then suddenly there was some sort of
Yeah.
a silence, and I felt like I assume that this market has reached its saturation. Even if I go to the stores, I see incremental upgrades over
Sure.
the previous iterations. So why launch a TV brand? Why are you focusing on this space?
Yeah, I think it's a very valid question. Just to reiterate what you're absolutely right. It's a very cluttered market. आज की डेट में अगर आप देखोगे 70 से 80 टीवी ब्रांड्स हैं इंडिया में, एंड बट हैविंग बीन इन दिस स्पेस, वी एक्चुअली हम लोग ने बोला लेट्स look deeper into a consumer, what they are seeing in the last 5-6 years. As rightfully you said, it looks stagnated, but there are pockets where things are it was growing. One area that we saw that it was actually increasing year on year is actually 4K TVs. In the last few years, in fact, आप अगर last year का number देखोगे, out of all the TVs that is sold in the market, so roughly about 12 to 13 million TVs are sold every year on year, smart TVs, and उसमें से 70% 4K TVs थे. So we realized, okay, and it's a growing category, and hence हम लोगों ने 4K TV, we are only doing 4K TVs. The second reason, we also looked at the consumer. This was market. Then we looked at consumer. Consumer are already complaining about a lot of issues. While अगर आप कोई भी फ्लिपकार्ट या अमेजोन पे जाके आप रिव्यूज़ देखोगे, इट इज़ डिवाइडेड इनटू 5 सेक्शंस: पिक्चर, साउंड, आफ्टर सेल्स, परफॉर्मेंस, प्राइस, वैल्यू फॉर मनी, वो सारे आते हैं. अक्रॉस ऑल इंडिकेटर्स पीपल वेर प्राइमरली हैप्पी. 80% से ज़्यादा लोग हैप्पी थे. ठीक है, पिक्चर ठीक है, बिकॉज दे हैव ऑलरेडी डन द रिसर्च, दे हैव बॉट अ प्रोडक्ट. प्राइस ठीक है, साउंड ठीक है, वैल्यू फॉर मनी ठीक है. दो चीज़ जो एक्चुअली ठीक नहीं है, इट डिपेंड्स ऑन ब्रांड टू ब्रांड, इज आफ्टर सेल्स एंड परफॉर्मेंस. And we realized, and it's not like marginal problems. Performance में almost 70% were not happy, and in after sales almost 40% were not happy. तो हम लोगों ने बोला, no, we have to go and solve this. So these were another reason. Of course, there were also other reasons in terms of there were a lot of brands that left the country. We also saw an opportunity for us to come build a great brand from India. And here we are. It took us some time. Almost एक साल से हम लोग इसके ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं, and we'll be very soon we'll be launching this to the market.
Okay, so as you said, like there are so many brands, and और किसी को बिल्कुल ही आसान शब्दों में बताना हो कि यार what, हमारा USP ये है, हम इस वजह से सबसे अलग है.
Sure.
तो आप कैसे बताओगे?
so हमने जब यूज़र रिसर्च स्टडी किया, that performance was the key thing that we wanted to build. Of course, TV में बहुत सारे दूसरी चीज़ भी है, but what we are saying is we have actually built India's fastest smart TV. That is what we are going to stand for, and this is across the lineup. 43-inch low या 55-inch low, across all the sizes, you will get exactly the same performance in both hardware and software. So that's what we stand for. Lumio, we are trying to build a mid-premium brand. But mid-premium brand में भी we are trying to build products that are differentiated than the rest of the cookie cutter stuff that is out there.
So you've been advertising vision, yes, like as part of a suffix, right? Is vision something like, is it something some sort of a branding gimmick, or is it something a feature on your TVs? So
vision is actually the subcategory name for TVs. So Lumio is the brand, Vision is the category into which we are launching. So we have 2 sets of TVs. We have Vision 7 and Vision 9, which we can talk in detail.
Okay, like I am not an expert in like reviewing TVs or understand like deep technicalities of it.
Sure.
So one of the things which I, as a layman consumer, I would go to a store and just look at क्या सबसे अच्छा डिस्प्ले किसका है, सबसे ज़्यादा पिक्चर किस पे आ रही है.
करेक्ट.
तो आई वांटेड टू अंडरस्टैंड लाइक थोड़ा सा, कैन यू इलैबोरेट ऑन डिस्प्ले टेक्नोलॉजीज लिटिल बिट, एंड आल्सो व्हाट वुड बी द आइडियल थिंग्स, अब LED है, QLED है और इस तरह की चीज़ें, एंड फॉर अ कॉमन पर्सन टू अंडरस्टैंड यार ये क्या डिफरेंस है, राइट? तो आप अगर उस पे लाइक इफ यू कैन प्रोवाइड सम इनसाइट्स ऑन दैट.
सो विल ब्रेक डाउन डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी इन TV. So the backlight होता है LED, and then there is QLED. उसमें backlight के साथ there is added enhanced layer, but वो सारे TV में नहीं होते. I will come to that. बहुत सारे मार्केट में QLED TVs बिकते हैं जिसमें डेडिकेटेड क्वांटम डॉट लेयर है ही नहीं, बट वो क्वांटम डॉट बोल के बेच रहे हैं. उसके बाद आता है LED हो गया, which is regular, and then the step up is QLED. Then the step up was OLED. OLED was the most expensive, सबसे महंगा वो होता है, because self emitting pixels होते हैं उसमें. But अभी in the last few years there is another technology that has come in between QLED and OLED, which is a mini LED. Mini LED is actually LED है, but बहुत tiny छोटे छोटे LED bulbs हैं. Just to give an example, in my 55-inch there are almost 2000 mini LEDs, which is a lot in a 55-inch space. So that advantage उसका ये है कि almost you get the same amount of almost practically the deepest black that you get in OLED. So that is the added advantage. Of course, it can get brighter. Like between the Vision 7 and Vision 9, the Vision 9 is almost 2 times brighter than the Vision 7. So वो added advantage होता है. So laddering is in terms of technology.
Correct.
Now what we are trying to do is we अगर simple शब्दों में बोलूँ, usually consumers look for picture. और
Correct.
picture actually you must be wondering what is a good picture. क्या डिफाइन कैसे होता है? एक फॉर्मूला होना चाहिए. तो गुड पिक्चर इज एक्चुअली अ ब्राइट पैनल एंड गुड कलर. और एक थर्ड चीज़ होता है जो मोस्ट ब्रांड्स नहीं करते, वो है एक्यूरेसी. तो हम ये तीनों चीज़ें भी फोकस कर रहे हैं. ब्राइटर पैनल, बेटर पैनल, बट ऑल्सो दैट प्रोड्यूसेस द मोस्ट कलर एंड द मोस्ट एक्यूरेट कलर्स. इट्स ऑल इंटरट्विन्ड एंड दैट गिव्स यू दैट पिक्चर जो जाके आप शोरूम में देखते हो. So we are trying to focus on these 4 aspects.
So basically, hierarchy of quality of TVs would be like on the top would be OLED,
Yes.
starting with
Yes.
basic LED TVs, right?
Yes. So LED TVs start at the base. उसके ऊपर QLED, उसके ऊपर mini LED, उसके बाद OLED.
Got it. But TVs aren't like of course display is like the
Very
first
important.
thing which
Yes.
you notice, right? But it is not the everything.
Correct.
Like and one of as a consumer my complaint is कि जितने भी आजकल के टीवी आते हैं उसमें उसका साउंड इज नॉट गुड, राइट? या तो आपको साउंड बार लेना पड़ता है एक अलग से, या फिर अपने होम थिएटर लगाया हुआ है.
Correct.
तो मुझे लगता है कि एक अननेसेसरी खर्चा. बट if you go back in the time, there used to be TV with like really good
Yes,
speakers,
yes, I agree.
If you remember the good old CRT days,
CRT
right?
days.
Like bazooka TVs
Bazooka
and all
subwoofer
those.
होता था
Like,
side में.
correct. So LED TV and ये जो flat screens आने के बाद से I've noticed कि sound quality has been compromised.
Yes.
And like people say that it's better, but like personally मुझे like I need additional sound bars या फिर कुछ ऐसा. So what is your understanding? How do you see that sound quality can get better on TVs?
This is absolutely a genuine problem in the TV industry. So I'll give you a little bit background. Yes, you're right. TV used to be, CRT TVs used to be there. Then flat panels used to come. Plasma came, and now LEDs are all across us. Like 100% of the smart TVs are practically all LED TVs. But with that, what happened? TVs, पतले होते जाएंगे. The problem happens when TVs become slimmer and slimmer. The sound boxes become slimmer and slimmer, and sound आता है cavity से. In fact, speaker box, आप जो आवाज़ सुनते हो speaker से या headphone से, especially in speakers, it's all about the space. अगर आपके पास physical space नहीं है, आप air को move नहीं कर सकते, आवाज़ आप तक पहुँचेगी नहीं. Hundreds of reviews that we read, it's all about vocal सुनता नहीं है. I mean, I can't hear what the dialogues are.
Correct.
And this is a common problem across any content that you watch. It doesn't matter if it's coming from a set-top box or an OTT app. That problem is there. So we actually have gone ahead and not tried to make our TVs very slim. In fact, versus every other TV across the lineup, our speaker cavity is somewhere between 100 to 150% more. उससे क्या होता है? You have very large speaker boxes. So in the 55 inch, we actually put almost a 1 liter speaker box. दोनों को मिला के with dedicated एक tweeter होता है, एक full range driver होता है. Generally in TVs, what we have built, every other people they generally put just one full range driver. हम लोगों ने एक dedicated tweeter और dedicated full range across the lineup. We have made that decision early on to give a fuller sound because cavity ज़्यादा है. और ट्विटर से आपको वोकल्स या हाई फ्रीक्वेंसीज यू कैन हियर इट वे क्लियरर. So those drivers, they are focusing on 2 different sets of jobs, which gives you a way better sound experience than every other TV.
All right. So the next thing which everybody wants to understand is TV software part, right?
Yes.
Like after you switch on a TV, once you have checked out everything, the first thing you after switching is the interface of the thing.
Yes.
So I'm assuming it's a Google TV.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But what are the customizations you have made on the top, and what are the add-ons that are there? And also, in your opinion, what would be best TV software to have an ideal TV software? In my opinion, it would be like, if you ask me, it should be like something very easy to load. Once you switch on the TV, it shouldn't take like a Windows situation. It takes forever to just roll, and it's easy to navigate from point A to point B, right?
Correct.
So please tell us about the software part of the Lumio.
I think बिफोर गोइंग टू सॉफ्टवेयर आई विल टेल यू व्हाट वी हैव डन वर्सेस अदर टीवी. आपने एक बात छेड़ी कि मैं टीवी ऑन करता हूँ, विंडोज़ की तरह लोड होता है फिर आता है. दैट्स प्राइमरली वन ऑफ द मेन पेन पॉइंट व्हेन आई टॉक अबाउट परफॉर्मेंस. अगर आप इंडस्ट्री एवरेज लोगे, वी हैव डन दिस आवर इंटरनल स्टडीज ऑल्सो. वी हैव बेंचमार्क्ड ऑलमोस्ट 50+ TVs फ्रॉम 30,000 रुपीज़ टू ऑलमोस्ट 2.5 लाख रुपीज़. सारे TVs में एवरेज reboot time, Netflix turn on time, browsing, UI, UX, everything is very, very slow. What we have achieved is across all of these parameters, हमारी TV is like 2 times faster, 2 times minimum across all this. Again, and these are the things जो आप हर रोज करते हो. आप TV हर रोज ऑन करते हो, जाके Netflix क्लिक करते हो, ब्राउज करते हो, स्क्रॉल करते हो. Then you open like so many apps, 9 different apps. आप then when you go back to the other, it's again loading. तो हमने एक्स्ट्रा रैम भी दिया है, 3 GB ऑफ DDR4 रैम, जो अच्छा रैम है. DDR2 और 3 भी आते हैं बहुत सारे TVs में. हम लोगों ने DDR4 रैम दिया है. एंड व्हेन यू क्लिक दैट कंटेंट, मान लो आपने कुछ Netflix पे देखा 4K HDR कंटेंट, यू वांट टू प्ले दैट. Our Wi-Fi chips also enables to start streaming it instantly in the highest bit rate. And of course, all of this, like you mentioned, software. I think the optimization that needs to be done, again, we are working very closely with Google to get this software directly from them. And you know, all of these 4 things actually bring in that experience. आपने experience की बात छेड़ी, user experience. User experience is an amalgamation of hardware and software. And in fact, we have done one more thing. We are also working on our own app. It's called TLDR. The full form is too long, didn't read. तो बहुत interesting another perspective. While we looked at reviews from user and they said TV slow है, TV slow है, TV slow है. दूसरे ओर में आप you almost spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes just browsing, क्या देखना है. Now Google TV kind of solves that for movies and TV show. 2 चीज़ें वो जो solve नहीं, अभी उनके पास नहीं है, जो हम लोग solve करना चाहते हैं is एक है sports, एक है music. Sports is something I think as a country we are very, very passionate. As we watch a lot of cricket, right? But more often than not, अपने टीवी में आप सिर्फ you know live stream देखते हो या फिर. Correct. But then you go back to YouTube, you look at highlights, you look at the talk shows, you look at विशेष टिप्पणी जिसको बोलते हैं. Ashwin, I think, does a great job at giving you know behind the scenes. He started a blog. So then you also need to know where your team is standing. For example, मैं फुटबॉल बहुत देखता हूँ. At any given time there is multiple matches happening. स्कोर कार्ड देखने के लिए मैं लैपटॉप या फिर फ़ोन डालता हूँ and I scroll and I check. टेबल में मेरे टीम कहाँ पर है in the Premier League, for example. So we are actually getting all different signals from everywhere and we're putting inside our home in the TLDR, where you can get all of this. At any given time, you can get 6 scorecards. You can get the latest highlight. You can get all this vicious tip money. All of that in one particular place.
Is this app exclusive to Lumio TVs only?
We are starting with our Lumio TVs, but yeah, we will see how it goes. And if more people ask, of course, we will try to give it to everybody.
So, as I said in the during our conversations, like I don't have the eye for the details in a TV, right? But also, I understand like there are people who like really care for refresh rate क्या है, upscaling कितनी हो रही है, and they can actually notice it also. I can't like make out much nowadays, but also like for those people like you know who are caring about like gaming करना चाहते हैं, उनको input lag नहीं चाहिए, उनको VR support चाहिए या फिर different type of high end चीज़ चाहिए, and who are like power users who want to use TV just beyond basic OTTs देखने के अलावा. So for them, what your brand is offering?
Sure. Actually, हमारी TV by the way 4K 60 Hz है, but where we are focused is having better colors and accurate colors. Yes, the TV में 4K upscaling है. If you play a 1080p content, there is upscaler. If you play any 60 Hz content, it will play absolutely fine. In fact, हमारे TV में ALLM भी है. So अगर आप PlayStation खेल रहे हो, ऑटो लो लेटेंसी मोड जिसमें आपका इनपुट लैग सबसे कम होता है, इट विल ऑटोमेटिकली किक इन, एंड वो हम लोग HDR में भी कर रहे हैं और डॉल्बी विजन में भी कर रहे हैं. इफ़ यू हैव गेम्स इन डॉल्बी विजन टाइटल, वी कैन ऑल्सो हैव डॉल्बी विजन गेम मोड जिससे आपका लेटेंसी कम रहेगा. बट मोर इम्पोर्टेंटली वी आर फोकसिंग ऑन ओवरऑल TV, नॉट जस्ट वन पर्टिकुलर कोहॉर्ट विच इज़ वेरी वेरी नीश. व्हाट वी आर सेइंग इज आप कोई भी रिफ्रेश रेट में कंटेंट देखते हो, द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इन अ पिक्चर इज कलर. दैट इज समवेयर आई थिंक वी हैव गॉन वेरी वेरी डीप. So in TV there is something called the color gamuts. Different triangles होते हैं जिसका color gamut होता है. So Rec 2020 HDR का color gamut होता है. Then DCI P3 is another type of color gamut. In fact, हमारे TVs में we have set new benchmarks in this color spaces. The numbers that we are getting out of Lumio Vision 7 and Lumio Vision 9 is practically industry leading, except one TV in the country. Apart from one TV, at least in our research, we have found out there is no TV that matches the values, the color values. Just to quote numbers, the Rec 2020 number, the best TV in India is 80% color coverage. We also have a TV in our lineup which achieves that, the 55-inch. But more than colors, color का एक accuracy भी level function होता है, उसको बोलते हैं delta E. Basically accurate color से कितना shift होता है. Even in that, anything less than 3 is considered to be great. But the best TV, for example, Sony OLED हो गया, Sony Mini LED हो गया, they are all around 1.4, 1.5. We are also in the same vicinity, anywhere between 1.08 to 1.4 across all the TV, including 43-inch also. So yeah, we have gone thoda sa, again like you mentioned, there are people who really care about details. We have gone into details about color and accuracy.
Nice. There is no conversation that is complete without today nowadays, like, no interviews is ever complete if you don't mention AI, right? That AI के बिना बात खत्म होती नहीं है हमारी, है ना? और like what is, like, how AI can improve TV viewing experience?
I think there is a lot of work happening, I think, around AI in our lives. I think there is no human, I think, who uses smartphone, for example, is too far away from AI. And Google, in fact, is working very hard in pushing some of these AI features on their Google TV. So we will be one of the first to get any of these features because we work directly from Google. ये software directly Google से आता है हमारे TV में. There is no like intermediary. So in fact, currently Google ने already last few months में ये feature launch किया है. Now you can go to any content card. मान लो any movie, you ask the movie title, it will give you a summary of the synopsis of what this movie is about, so that you can make what is this movie about. You don't have to go and like see a trailer also, but at the same time it will also give a summary of all the reviews, user reviews that people have given. So that's like one of the use cases that Gemini on Google TV has come. The second use case that they have done is you can generate your own wallpaper using generative AI directly on the TV. So धीरे धीरे करके I think people will start seeing a lot of AI feature also being included in TVs. But to do that, you need horsepower, you need better processing power, you need better RAM. So hence we have put literally the flagship processor on our TV. We're calling it the boss processor, and we have put 3 GB of DDR RAM along with the software optimization, like I mentioned, and like all of this will ensure बाद में भी आज के डेट में ठीक है 4 फीचर्स आ गए, कल को और 100 फीचर्स आएंगे. You need to have headroom to go and like be relevant and not slow up. हर टीवी फास्ट होता है when you buy the TV. 3 महीने के बाद स्लो हो जाता है. We have enough headroom that it will actually stay faster. That's the promise that we are giving.
So one of the things, like when we speak about AI, like one of the things which I want, my wish list is that it creates an automatic shuffle list. I want to watch boring content. I want to watch good content. I want to watch the best content. It's just that I don't want to take the effort of searching it and then adding it to the list. And I want the AI to just keep shuffling, like good old days where you used to watch TV, cable TV, and then you watched anything what is there on the TV, regardless if it is good, you liking or disliking it, right? So do you think something like this, like in terms of where users can customize what they want to watch, like can that AI or some sort of algorithms go that deep?
I think over a period of time, the short answer is yes. I think we are also experimenting with AI in our TLDR app, how to make that experience better. There are, you can imagine the imagination can go as far as, but I think over a period of time, like you said, for example, today there is, let's say 20 years into the future, you turned on my TL, like any application. What if it changes content based on your mood? आप एक सेट ऑफ कंटेंट देख रहे हो, मान लो 50 चीज़ें एक ऐप में है, बट कैन दैट ट्वीक बेस्ड ऑन योर मूड? जैसे आपने बोला, आई एम इंटरेस्टेड ऑफ रोमांटिक, व्हाइल यू कैन सर्च टुडे एंड यू कैन डू इट, what if the entire UI also changes? I think AI will move forward and will also help in TVs and the UI and recommendation, for example. Absolutely. I mean, and we are also experimenting with some of the AI features which will obviously come later in the years. But yeah, AI is going to like help make things better, I think.
Great. And so, like, there's one very common problem, and which I want to take your have your 2 cents as well. Like, I think this will help me clarify where these TVs or this are aimed at, what kind of audience it's aimed at, right? For instance, like, as a common user, like one of the things which I will do is like get a set-top box, right?
Yeah.
And most of my interactions will happen is just switching the HDMI to set-top box, whether it's Airtel or whether it's Jio.
Correct.
Right, and I'm using their platform because I get a lot of subscriptions, right?
Correct.
Lot of benefits and lot of like, things, right?
Yeah.
And they have their own ecosystems of some sorts, right? So what do you think, like, even if you have done so much of work on the interface and everything, right? But agar a common person like who 90% time was जियो के इकोसिस्टम या जियो के इंटरफेस में है, वो अच्छा बुरा है उसे फिर तो मैटर ही नहीं करता, क्योंकि वो तो बस वो उसी इकोसिस्टम में रह गया. तो what do you think about this? Like, do you think what is that kind of audience your target audience?
I think हमारा जो TG है, we are looking at a very a user that is not a first time smart TV buyer. We are looking at a user who has already used a smart TV and looking for a better smart TV. So अगर आप position की बात करो तो there are entry level TVs and then there are premium TVs.
Correct.
What we are trying to be is at the mid premium level, so that we attract customers from both sides. Premium side से भी attract कर सकते हैं और entry level से भी step up कर सकते हैं. Where at one point we are getting more bang for buck versus the premium, but also we are giving better stuff than the cheaper options available. आपने बोला जियो के सेटअप बॉक्स में ऑलरेडी ऑलमोस्ट ऑल द कंटेंट आर देयर. दैट व्हाइल दैट इज ट्रू, जियो आल्सो हैज, आई मीन, ऑल द सब्सक्रिप्शन. आई आल्सो हैव अ जियो कनेक्शन. You can actually use all of those in the logins on the TV side also. Practically every app is available on the Play Store, especially on Google TV. So yeah, we are trying for a very how do I put it, a demanding customer who wants most out of the TV. That is my TG. If it happens to just a set-top box user, maybe not. Maybe not the right customer for us. But of course, he can always log into the Android TV apps and get a much faster experience on our TV.
So now coming to the little bit about the business side of the things. How do you plan to sell these TVs? Like where one people can buy it? Like, will it be just online only thing, or there will be some offline online hybrid?
Sure. So we are a startup. We are starting from. We have to start from somewhere, and we are a very small team. We have like 20 people, but we just realized trying to solve for a part of the market. The easier option for us was to start with online. So we are starting with online. By end of next month, we will be available. End of April, we'll be available on sale with Amazon, who's our partner that we have chosen. And while we start there, it's not the end goal. Obviously, we want to reach out to as many people that you want. But being a startup, we need to focus our energies, do something right, and then scale up. We don't also want to like scale up too early. We want to like obviously reach out. The end goal is not to be only on online. The end goal is to be everywhere.
So, but you understand, like, since you worked with such big brands earlier as well, like, you understand the power of offline and online, right? And so if you look at the market right now, you see that all those people with deep distribution networks and offline, they have kind of survived, right?
Yeah.
So do you think, what do you think of the model? Like, what is your perspective? What kind of offline, online, will you bring same philosophy in your brand at some point in the future?
I think at some point, yes, in the future, we would want to first enter online, be successful, and then we can plan. Again, we are here to like to reach out to as much as customer. Like you mentioned, offline is a very, very critical distribution channel. Almost across India, you can find them everywhere. However, when you start small, you need to be very, very focused, know what you're doing. Yes, we have relevant experiences even in that space, so we know how the channel works. We know what are the challenges. So we will start with online, but yeah, in future we will definitely look at opportunities how we can also work with some of those other folks.
Like, what is your take on quick commerce? I'm sure everybody is a quick commerce user, but
it's a part of our lives, yeah.
But recently we have seen, like, how even smartphones are now being sold through quick commerce. So what is your thought? Like, do you see the need to sell a TV in 10 minutes? Is it something, is a plausible future?
I'm not sure if TV is the need in quick commerce. Maybe in certain point when, let's say for example, if your TV breaks down and you are like really impatient and you want the TV to be there in 10 minutes, I'm not sure if there are enough customers there. Maybe in smartphone people want, maybe PlayStation is another example, people want it. But I think it's very early for people to expect that TV 10 minute mein aana chahiye. But we never know. I mean, quick commerce has taken into our lives. I'm a big quick commerce user across multiple platforms, right? But I haven't done a lot of shopping apart from batteries and कुछ छोटे छोटे चीज़ हो गई electronics में. बड़ा purchase I think we still like to research and go with established channels. So maybe you never know. Quick commerce is also changing at the speed of AI, I feel sometimes.
Correct. So TV is a very capital intensive space, right? And I'm not sure, like, has there been a brand that has been which is a startup doing TVs, right? I don't recall. But since you're a small team and then it's a very capital intensive market, like you will have to deal with scale, you will have to deal with a lot of numbers. Like, how do you plan to fund it? Like, what is the roadmap for that?
So we raised about 4.3 million last year. So we have two main investors. They came on board. Like you said, it's a capital intensive category. In fact, a lot of people asked us, why are you doing TV? We finally found two partners who helped us raise these funds. But yeah, we wanted to put all our efforts and energy into the R&D. It took a long time to get what we have built, to get the right set of components, the suppliers, and to put it all together. It just took us way more time. It is capital intensive. In fact, and the next most intensive is actually the talent. Like I told you about the, we are like a 20-member team, but almost 10 of them are software engineers. We're working really hard on the software side of the things to optimize and make things better. So that's a lot like a long-term goal. You can make the hardware once, but you can make your software iterative over and over. And you can add features, you can build so many things. Like I said, AI is changing every single day. You want to build a lot of these things on top of the hardware. So that's the end goal. We want to differentiate the product not just in hardware but also in software through the money that we have raised.
Got it. And also, again, who are your manufacturer partners over here right now? And again, it goes without saying, like, are you manufacturing it locally? And I'm sure, like, a lot of TVs, like, as far as I remember, like, a lot of TVs have started being assembled in India as well. But still, there are a few, apart from here and there, a few components. But so how are you manufacturing in India, and who are your
so
partners?
we are manufacturing all our TVs with Dixon Technologies. Dixon Technologies is one of the largest, they are the largest EMS in India. So very early on, we started talking to them, discussing with them, hey, we want to work very closely with you. So we're very grateful to all their help and support, because we work with them not just on manufacturing, but also doing very stringent quality tests on our TV. Just to quote example, we work very closely with them to push the standards even in testing. Very few examples, since we are in Delhi. Delhi is generally a very hot summer area. The industry standard for, let's say, high temperature test is actually at 55 degrees. We worked with Dixon, changed the process to ensure we have 60 degrees stuck extra 5 degrees. While it sounds very small, we ensure that we test our TVs until 60 degrees, all our TVs. So we are working very closely with them, and then they just help us assemble. Obviously, they're very great at it. We are also working with them, taking some of these stuff that they can help us with, because they are way larger than us. Let's be real. We are a startup. We need all the help that we can, and yeah, they're helping us in the quality test. And both of us together, we are trying to push the how would I say, benchmark and boundaries of what should be tested, because TVs needs to last, and there is no point in creating the fastest TV and it, it doesn't work. So we are trying to create fast TV, not just which is fast today, but is also fast tomorrow.
Got it. So I'd like to wrap up our conversation, with one outlook. What is your outlook for the TV space? We have seen the TV market change radically from our childhood, of course, and how do you align your brand with the way TV space will grow?
I think it started with how TV market has been stagnated. In fact, the problem that I mentioned is not just an Indian problem only, Kul. It's a global problem. आप Reddit पे जाके सर्च कर लो, TVs are slow, आपको हज़ारों threads मिलेंगे, and each thread में 200-300 pages हैं जिसमें लोग बातें कर रहे हैं. We decided, we have so much of experience collectively. It's a team of really experienced, like you mentioned, we worked in bigger brands, but we all decided, let's go and build a great brand from India. Of course, we don't want our products to be sold because we're Indian. We want our products to have their own space. Of course, the added advantage is we are all from the country. We know the quality thing, right? India, Delhi mein, last year also only I read like 50 degrees touch ho gaya tha. I don't know if it was true or fake, but we know the Indian condition, right? We can, make products built for India, not just in hardware, but also in the software, the taste, the color, the UI. It's all stemming from the team. So we have assembled a great team, but at the same time, we feel TV industry was kind of like stagnated, not just in volume, but also in innovation. That's why we're like, let's, we took the things on our hands. We're like, chalo, we need to do something great. Isme, we should build something which is absolutely not just best in India, but one of the best products coming out of India for the world. Of course, we are only selling in India, but I think when people see this product, they will realize how good this product is overall across picture, sound, performance, and software. So we want to set new benchmarks from India and build some of the greatest products. That is our goal as a brand in Lumio.
Before I let you go, I have like some small questions, which are very light-hearted, which is not heavy-headed like Lumio and everything, right? So first thing which I want to know is like, do you prefer your TVs wall-mounted or on the table?
I'm a tabletop guy. I'll tell you why. I test a lot of TVs at home. If I wall mount my TV, nikalna karna, it's a problem. But yeah, mostly if you look at numbers, it's almost 50-50. I think people do. There is equal split of both people wall mounting. I think the larger size you go, people prefer it to be wall mounted. Smaller TV sizes are more on the wall tabletop side. But I'm a tabletop guy. I have another reason for it. The sound and speakers in all the TVs are actually down facing. So if you actually tabletop it, it can bounce and you can hear it very well. That's my reason of tabletopping.
मेरा सिर्फ simple reason है कि भाई दीवार खराब नहीं करना है.
That's also genuine reason. A lot of people might not have their own homes, so they don't want to touch it.
Correct. So, like if you're in a rented premises, like landlord will cause a lot of problems. Second thing which I wanted to know, do you scroll your phone while watching TV? Like, are you like peripheral vision? आप TV आप देख नहीं सुन रहे हो basically?
It depend करता है कौन सा content चल रहा है. अगर एक intense show है, I think one of the recent show that I watched was Adolescence on Netflix. काफी intense है. It's a short 4 episode, beautifully shot. But so shows like that, I think उसके लिए you are like always watching. But more often than not, I think my wife, she always watches content. कंटेंट चल रहा है, वो कंप्यूटर पे काम कर रही है या फिर फोन पे शी इज वर्किंग पेरिफेरल. हाँ, वो बैकग्राउंड लाइक नॉइज की तरह चल रहा है.
सो इफ यू हैड टू गिव अ नेम टू योर कैरेक्टर नेम टू योर टीवी, व्हाट वुड इट बी?
माय कैरेक्टर नेम, वाओ, आई विल हैव टू थिंक. if there is one character that really fits aptly to my TV, the TVs that we have built, is the Flash.
The Flash.
First.
Nice. Like I would name it Turtle because it just keeps loading. Slow speed.
Not my
snail
TV.
pace. What era of TVs do you think were the best? Like, do you like the flat screens or do you miss the old CRT bade speakers wale TVs or the
I
ones with remote?
so
The
I
button.
my first TV was a black and white. So it used to like close the door. वो wooden वाला होता था, वो खुलता था और 9 या 12 knobs होते थे. Those are the only channels that used to come. और उस टाइम पे तो एंटीना ऊपर से वो भाई बोल रहा है आ रहा है क्या वो डिफरेंट एंगल्स में वो घुमा रहा है, नीचे आ रहा है, हाँ आया वो क्लियर है. So I'm from that era, quite old. You can see my gray hairs. But I think technology with improvement. Again, I'm a nerd in TV. Back in the day, CRT में क्या होता था? The maximum cap was like 100 nits. सारे content उसी में बनते थे. It is very standardized experience. The only thing that I miss today is contents are not very standardized. In terms of कोई 1000 nits में बना रहा है, कोई 400 nits में बना रहा है. So the experience is not very, like if I were to do it, I would make it very like I would cap things and have every content produced in a certain way. But unfortunately, that's the only thing that I miss. पहले एक consistent experience था. आज के डेट में वो content keeps varying. I don't know if you've noticed. Game of Thrones देखते हो कुछ दिखाई नहीं दे रहा है. भाई वो कौन सा क्रिएटर है यार वो like dark scenes
Game of Thrones के कुछ scenes थे जो एकदम बिल्कुल
कुछ नहीं दिखा रहा है.
brightness बढ़ाने पड़ रहे थे.
हाँ भाई मेरे टीम में दिखता है वो. You should see it. But that's one I think I would say I miss the consistency.
कभी like as you mentioned also like छत पे जाके कभी antennas adjust किए हैं वो parallel wires. Do you remember?
Yes.
Have you done it?
Yes, I have done it. हम लोग कॉलोनी में रहते थे.
कभी वायर लगा के केबल कैच कराई?
वो तो नहीं किया हम लोग. The only thing was तो केबल जुड़ जाते थे because everything आप अपार्टमेंट में रह रहे हो. It's like it's a colony, गवर्नमेंट कॉलोनी. So वहाँ पर एक ही साइड पे लगाते थे सारे एंटेना. सब ऐसे साइड में होते थे और सब तार एक ही साइड से आ रहे because all the TVs are in the living room which is on one phase of the apartment. So that has happened. Never had the chance to hook. Yeah, but I know a lot of people used to do it. To get more channels.
मेरा सारा OTT content उधर ही से आता था बचपन में. Last question which I wanted to ask. ये रिमोट को पीछे मारने से चलता क्यों है?
हाँ?
पहले नहीं चलेगा लेकिन अगर रिमोट को पीछे ठप मारा तो चलता क्यों है?
टेक्निकल रीजन बताओ. बैटरी होता है. Basically when you shake the battery, there is some form of like energy, not exactly the right science, but that's what basically happens. Older remotes I remember we used to do a lot. Actually वो बैटरी चेंज नहीं करते थे. जैसे हम टूथब्रश फ्रीक्वेंटली चेंज नहीं करते, बैटरी भी लोग चेंज नहीं करते. एंड दे एक्सपेक्ट अनदर एनालॉजी दैट आई कैन ड्रॉ. लाइटर आप गैस लाइटर चेंज नहीं करते, वो मार के ऑन करते रहते हो. सो आई थिंक रिमोट इज काइंड ऑफ फॉल्स इन दैट सेम विसिनिटी. वी जस्ट डोंट चेंज, like we don't feel the need necessary, but remote बैटरी चेंज करोगे तो.
जब मैं छोटा था तो टीवी पे भी ढप मार दो तो रिसेप्शन सही हो जाता था उसका.
वो तो एंटीना था ना. आजकल एंटीना while all the TVs we do has an antenna, but I think Prasar Bharati is moving to digital. So a lot of TVs in future are going to come with digital tuners now, which they are working on. It has not been done, but it will come very soon.
Maybe satellite internet compatibility will be a thing.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for doing this, and it was lovely talking to you.
Bye bye.